Hey friends, how's it going? I hope you're all doing really well and managing to stay safe and healthy. Today, I guess I wanted to just kind of talk about what's going on in the world at the moment and how that works with regards to spirituality, and at least for me. So, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you're quite aware of the murder of George Floyd by a Minnesota police officer. And let's not mince our words, that's exactly what it was. And it was entirely down to racism. And it's not a one-off incident, it's been going on for a really long time. You can look back and there's loads of young black men and women as well, absolutely, who have been, murdered. Let's call that what it is. And there's been a lot of violence towards the black people and people of colour in general. So, as I'm sure you're aware, particularly if you live in the US, there's all kinds of riots and protesting going on right now. And it's been really interesting to see, and kind of disappointing sometimes, to see how this is talked about within the spiritual community online and pagan community online. Some groups, like I'm talking like Facebook groups, that's where I do most of my connecting to my online community. A lot of Facebook groups. Some of them have been like really vocal and have, the admins of these groups have been really good at kind of saying, yes, we stand with Black Lives Matter. We do take a stand against this. We don't accept racism. We are anti-racist within our communities. And they've been really vocal about saying that. And I think that's really important and really good. However, on the other side, there have been other communities, other Facebook groups that have been like, we're not even allowing this topic to be talked about. We don't talk about politics here, blah, 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 blah. So, two thoughts immediately spring to mind about this. One is, to be able to say, let's not talk about politics here or whatever, is an enormous, enormous mark of privilege and white privilege. And now, when I talk about white privilege, I'm not saying bad shit never happens to you. That's not what white privilege is. Bad shit happens to everyone. It's just not going to, at least in the West, it's just not going to happen to you based on the colour of your skin. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. There is shit that just won't happen to you, or things, if they do go wrong, won't necessarily be as hard for you because of the colour of your skin. And that's it. That's all white privilege is. And one of the marks of white privilege, in my opinion, is being able to turn away from topics like this because they make you uncomfortable. And I think that's what a lot of these groups, not all of them, but a significant portion of these groups are doing. They're turning away from this topic because it makes them uncomfortable. And they're essentially saying, how dare you bring your real life shit into my place of escapism? Which leads me on to my second thought about this, which is, if you're using your spirituality as a place of escapism and not as a way to help you turn towards and face the really hard shit in life, and to do that digging, to face those uncomfortable truths, then what is the point? Really? In my opinion, and I think from memory, Kellyanne Maddox talked about this in her video about white privilege and white fragility, which if you've not watched, I really do urge you to go and watch. It really does make you think. So in my opinion, also, if your spirituality is a place that's just escapism for you to avoid thinking about the hard stuff, then it's pointless, it's useless. You know, your spirituality, at least again in my opinion, should be a tool to help you face those hard truths and to sit in those uncomfortable places and to be able to really look at yourself. I mean, that's the whole point of, say, things like shadow work, for example, is to sit and look at those hard, uncomfortable things about yourself and sit with them and accept them and do better. And I think we as a community, and you know, which is, if you look at like past history, you know, been massively persecuted over time. So we know all about that shit. That's what we come from. And I think we can't get complacent now and say, well, you know, we've done all that. We don't have to worry about that no more. So it's not our problem. Because that kind of feels like what some of these groups are sort of saying. And I don't agree with that. I think, you know, because we've come from this place of persecution, we should know exactly what that's like and therefore stand with our black siblings. And I think it's not enough to just say, oh, well, I'm not racist. I think you have to really do some work. You have to read, you have to listen, you have to learn. You have to make spaces to elevate your black siblings and, you know, your siblings of colour in general in this community. So I really urge all 63 of you that are subscribed and anybody else who happens to watch this video to really sit in that uncomfortable place. Because for your black siblings, they have to sit in that uncomfortable place every single day. They don't ever get away from it. Ever. And if any of you are all like, oh, well, all lives matter. Well, obviously, numbnuts, we know that. But right now, it's not every other life under attack, is it? It's black lives. So just put all that nonsense, put that whataboutism shit aside for a minute and actually shut up and listen and take your feelings about all of this out of it. 'Cause it's not about you, it's not about your feelings. Simple. Like, and if that's a hard truth for you, then again, you need to sit and, you know, do some work and sit in that discomfort. Ask your gods to help you sit in that discomfort and really examine what that means. I need to do better. I have been very complacent. I freely admit it. In my communities that I'm in, my marginalised communities, because I am part of some marginalised communities myself, racism is a huge problem in the gay community. And in the past, I've very much been like, well, I've been that complacent person of, I'm not racist. I would never do that to anybody. And so that's enough, but really it's not. You know, I've never taken the time to sit and read literature, really, or seek out black voices, or, you know, my bubble. When I think about it, really, my bubble in my social interactions, the media I consume and all that, a lot of it is really white. Like, if I'm being really honest, a lot of it is really white. A lot of the groups I'm in terms of witchcraft groups, there's a lot of white people in them groups, you know. So I think, you know, I am also in this place of doing some work on myself and sitting with that discomfort, and I'm kind of looking at these things and my own behaviour, and I'm like, yeah, I need to do better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some links towards some resources, bail funds, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to leave all that down below in the description box. I really hope you go and click on them. And some of them are great. They're all great. They've got some incredible resources, lots of places you can go to read, books you can read, artists, blogs, everything. I'm also going to make more effort to elevate black voices. I think that's really important, you know, is white people just take a step back. You know, let's not just elevate white authors and white YouTube channels, and, you know, there are definitely black people on this platform. There's Magickians, I think her YouTube channel name is. There's Atypical Tarot, Will, he's a really cool guy. There's another channel, I forget her channel name, she's great, she's got really cool, like, pink and, like, braids or dread, she look like, yeah, she's another channel that's pagan centered, and she talks about witchcraft and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to try and gather as much as I can to put in the description of this video, and I really urge you to go and read and look and learn and listen and hear what black people are saying about their lived experience, and make space for those people and raise them up, spread them around, you know, do the work of actually letting them be heard. And also, you know, if you hear a family member or a friend making a racist joke or saying shit like all white all lives matter and all this shit, tell them fuck off. Actually stand up to them. It's really hard. It is hard. It's uncomfortable. You're gonna have to, you know, do that work. I need to do that work. That's another area I need to get better at doing. And the thing I need to get better at doing is actually telling other white people to shut the fuck up. So, anyway, use your spirituality as a tool to help you face those hard times. Speak to your gods and ask them to help you do those things, and take an active role in elevating those voices. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Don't let your spirituality be a place of escapism, and don't, you know, as a place to run away from those uncomfortable feelings. It should help you run towards those uncomfortable feelings and truths, and if it doesn't, then you need to maybe examine that a bit. Right, anyway, that's it. That's my piece. I hope you're all doing really well, and if you are going to the protests, make sure you bring plenty of water with you. Wear masks, all that stuff. Take good care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye.